Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 26th of December. Good to have you aboard. Hope everyone had a great holiday weekend. A Merry Christmas to everyone. We got Happy New Year coming up. A Happy Hanukkah to everybody there. 8th night of Hanukkah was last night. That was crazy. It was the craziest of the 8 crazy nights. So we get the week started. We're on the air. We're doing shows the entire week. I know a lot of people are off today, and people may be off other days this week because it's it's the Christmas break, Christmas holiday. We're doing shows every day this week, all right? Well, no days off. Hashtag no days off. So appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And again, I hope you all had a really great holiday weekend, and I love you for being here with us today. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that good stuff as far as the podcast goes, wherever you're listening. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ZASLOWShow. I love you long time. And of course, everything ZASLOW Show 2.0 presented by our title sponsors at Anidjar and Levine. Anidjar and Levine accident attorneys involved in a slip and fall, a motorcycle accident, a bike accident, a car accident. Whatever you got going on, if you got a personal injury from an accident, you call Anidjar and Levine. You get an attorney on the phone right away. 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. You let them take care of that part of the situation while you get healthy. And again, if you're listening to the show, you're a great friend of mine, so I got to make sure you're taken care of, and that's why I send you to Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. All right, so let's get this thing started here. What a miserable holiday weekend it was as far as the South Florida sports fan is concerned. You may have had a great holiday weekend because you spent time with your family and friends, but all of our sports teams, they tried to ruin it. They tried to cancel Christmas this weekend. The Dolphins, the Heat, the Panthers, terrible job by all three of them. What an awful sports weekend. We did the show on Friday. I'm hoping to get the double dip. Instead, we got the old double dick punch between the Panthers and the Heat. And then it was up to the Dolphins to try and save Christmas, and they ruined Christmas for you yesterday. The Dolphins are in a massive collapse right now, a huge meltdown yesterday. So we're obviously going to spend the majority of the show on the Dolphins today. You can always hit me up at ZASLOW Show on Twitter, and that brings us to today's ZASLOW Show 2.0 poll question. So go to @ZASLOW Show. You guys are out voting early and often. I love it, so make sure you go vote. You can also always hit me up on Instagram. That's @ZASLOWJ. I'm an influencer on Instagram, but I love responding to you guys. I love when you guys hit me up. You get a little discourse going. But you go to @ZASLOW Show on Twitter right now, and you can see we got the poll question, all right? Today's ZASLOW Show 2.0 poll. Miami Dolphins fan confidence level. That's the poll question for today. What is your confidence level as far as the Dolphins are concerned? And here are the three choices. Here are the three choices, all right? 1, Dolphins win the last 2, they lose the last 2, or they split the last 2. Those are the choices. And right now, like I said, you guys are out voting early and often. The leader right now with 45% of the vote is that the Dolphins are going to split the last 2 games. 45% of the vote for split the last 2 games. 29% of you right now are saying they're going to lose the last 2. So 29% of you believe the Dolphins are going to finish this season losing 6 in a row. And 26% of you say that they are going to win the last 2. So go to @ZASLOW Show, ZASLOW Show 2.0 poll going on right now. Miami Dolphins fan confidence level. They win the last 2, they lose the last 2, or they split the last 2. So we'll check back on that later on in the show. But of course, it's going to be open all day. Whenever you're listening, you may be listening right now. It may be, you're listening in the future. It's early afternoon. You're listening in the future. It's early evening. It's tonight. That's the future. All right. I don't know all the things that have happened throughout the day by the time that you're listening to this podcast, listening to today's episode of ZASLOW Show 2.0. Some crazy shit may happen. I don't know, all right? So you could always go back, though, and vote in today's poll question. It's going to be open all throughout the day. Man, I went and watched the game yesterday at Briny, of course. That's my spot for the Dolphin games. So I was back at Briny, And Briny Irish Pub Pompano, you take Atlantic Boulevard, you go all the way out to the ocean, but don't park in the ocean. You want to park right behind the Briny, okay? It's free parking there. They validate for you. Seriously, like, you could park on the left and there's a pay lot there. Don't do that. Park behind the Briny. Just take a picture of your license and they validate it for you inside the bar. It's free parking at the Briny. The world's greatest upscale dive bar, all right? They got live music every single night, including tonight, 4 to 7 every night. Monday through Friday is Briny Hour. It's happy hour. Get all kinds of drink specials. Get all kinds of craft beer on tap. You got food specials. Go pick up some fish and chips. You got mahi tacos. I love the shepherd's pie there. So again, Briny Irish Pub, Pompano, world's greatest upscale dive bar. That's where I was watching the Dolphins. I got my Briny hat on, actually, right now. I look good in this, yeah? And so I was there yesterday to watch the Dolphins. I was there with my son. I wasn't sure what kind of crowd Briny was going to get on Christmas Day. It was crowded. A lot of people at the Briny yesterday for the Dolphins. They got the NFL Sunday ticket as well, so if you're looking for a place to catch the games, Briny's a good spot. But anyway, so we're there, you know, drinking beers, me and my son. He's not drinking the beers, he's drinking Sprite. And so we're watching the Dolphin game there, and oh my God, like there was, you know, the thing with watching the game out like that, I end up being on best behavior because I don't like to act a fool when I'm out, you know, surrounded by people I don't know. Like, I'm not going to yell, fuck, like, I'm not going to do anything like that, you know? But that third interception by Tua, oh my God, like, I wanted to chuck something across the bar. You got to be careful. You don't want to do something stupid like that. I wanted to chuck something across the bar. I told you guys, man, when I was in college, I used to watch Heat games, and, you know, I had the NBA League Pass, and I used to watch Heat games, but I would purposely watch the game I would put the remote control on the other side of the room, and I would put the phone on the other side of the room. Like, back then, you had an actual phone. You had, like, the receiver, the wireless receiver for your house phone, you know? Hey, you got some kids listening right now, like, what the hell are you talking about, ZASLOW? You're old as dirt. So I used to have to put the phone and the remote control on the other side of the room, so that I couldn't just, as a natural reaction when some bad play would happen with the Heat, where I would just take the phone, take the phone or the remote control and chuck it across the room, maybe at the TV, and then crack the TV. So I had to put stuff on the other side of the room because I would throw things. And that's almost how I felt yesterday at the Briny. That third interception, luckily I'd already paid the check. I didn't, you know, dine and dash. You can't do that anymore. At my age, come on, like, get a life. So I already paid the check. I was lucky. I put my beer down and said to my son, let's go. And you know, waltz my way on out there after that third INT. That was a meltdown, man. There's no other way to put it. That was a meltdown, and I feel so stupid thinking that this team was capable of being better than Kansas City and Buffalo. I feel stupid. I feel so stupid for thinking that the Dolphins had a chance for at any point this season trying to consider, okay, if we win this, like going into the San Francisco game, if we won that game, we would have been first place in the AFC because Buffalo and Kansas City, I believe, lost that week. We would have been first place. I feel so stupid for thinking at any point this year that the Dolphins were going to win the AFC East. I feel so stupid for considering the Dolphins, could they be first place in the entire AFC? I feel so stupid for thinking that this was a team on the level of those great teams that I just mentioned. I mean, you look right now at the top of the AFC, the best team is 12-3. The Dolphins are freaking 8-7. 8-7 sucks. It's such an average record. 12-3 is awesome, and it's so far ahead of 8-7. A team that's 8-7 is nowhere close to a team that's 12-3. And I feel so stupid. I felt for the rope-a-dope, you know? It's the worst. And I used to fall for this back in the 90s, you know, with I mean, hey, if you're a Dolphin fan who's my age or older, you know what this year feels like. It feels like it's 93. Yeah, it feels like 93. The year after, well, I guess it's the 92 season. Or 93, whatever it was. It feels like 93, where it was the season Marino got hurt. It was after the last time the Dolphins made the AFC Championship game and lost to Buffalo there. And the next season, Marino got hurt early in the season. I don't remember if it was the very first game, but Marino got hurt, and the Dolphins ended up losing that game. But Scott Mitchell ended up leading the Dolphins to a 9-2 record. And it's like, whoa, first place in the AFC. And what happened? Lost their next 5 games, missed the playoffs. 9-7. They were 9-2, lost the final 5 games of the season, finished 9-7, missed the playoffs. And this year now feels exactly like that. The Dolphins were 8-3, and we're talking about MVP for Tua. We're talking about first place in the AFC, and you got the December swoon, and it's a massive one. It's not like the Dolphins were in playoff position. They lost a couple games in December. No, we're talking about winning 0 games in December. Yeah, the Dolphins won no games in December. December's over for the Dolphins. Next game is January 1. That's a different month. It's actually a different year. December is over. The Dolphins were 8-3 and won 0 games in the month of December. A catastrophic collapse for this team. And I feel so stupid thinking that this Dolphins team had a chance to win the AFC. Just like I feel like a sucker. I feel like I fell for it. So that was like, if you're a young Dolphin fan and you're wondering, hey, I wonder what a meltdown feels like. Yeah, this is what a meltdown feels like. Yesterday was a meltdown. I feel so stupid for thinking this team was better than Buffalo, better than Kansas City, or not even necessarily better, but like had a chance to compete with them. And like you're going into halftime. It's 20-13, and really though, this whole situation started right before halftime, and we'll get to that. But you go into halftime like, all right, we're in great position. Like I feel like we should have been up more, because I was telling you the entire week, I thought the Dolphins were going to smash the Packers. Felt like they were going to smash them. And it felt like we were on the way to that. It's 20-10 late in the first half. I mean, this offense is clicking the way you thought it was going to at home. Get back home. Offense is going to look great. It's going to look a lot different than it did recently. 20 points in the first half. We're well on our way to scoring 40 for the game. That's right. Tua slinging it out there. Waddled, with the short catch, and then, 84 yards. Hill with the deep pass. Oh, that was awesome. Like, Jason Sanders is still hitting field goals. He was part of the meltdown, too, as he missed a big kick in the second half. Just a massive meltdown for this Dolphin team, after feeling like we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And I had this conversation early last week where I was like, yeah, you're feeling pretty shitty right now. They're 8-6. They've lost, 3 in a row. But this season's still going to be a massive success, because they're going to win the final 3 games, and they're going to go to the playoffs, an 11-win team, and you're going to feel great having won 3 in a row going to the playoffs. You're going to feel great having beat the Patriots and the Jets and root to go into the playoffs. And then maybe you can wind up doing some damage, especially because if you win your final 3 games and Baltimore loses 1 of their final 3, they did not lose this weekend, or the Chargers lose 1 of their final 3, they play 2 nights, but it doesn't even matter. If those 2 teams lose 1 of their final 3 games and you're going to win your final 3 games, you're going to finish 5th. And then you would play at Jacksonville, because Jacksonville's already jumped them. Tennessee's done. Jacksonville's going to win that division. And so you're going to feel great about this season. Even though you lost 3 in a row, they were 2 good teams. Tua wasn't great in 2 of the 3. You're going to win your final 3. You're going to feel really good about winning your final 3, especially because the teams you beat. And then you're going to go to the first round of the playoffs, and you're going to play at Jacksonville. And you got a chance to win a playoff game right there. So this is going to wind up being still going to end up being a great season. And now, now you can't feel that way. Because now we're on the verge of this season being remembered forever for all the wrong reasons, just like back in 1993. We all remember it. If you're of the right age, you remember it. 9-2, finished 9-7, had a chance to be first place in the entire AFC. 9-2, finished 9-7. I'm never going to forget that season. And now you're remembering this season potentially the same way. This season could wind up living in infamy. And that is not a good thing. So, a massive collapse overall and a meltdown from your quarterback. So let's talk a little bit about Tua here. Let's talk a lot about Tua here. For a quarterback who never turns the ball over, all right? For a QB who never turns the ball over, 3 interceptions in this game, 3 interceptions from a quarterback who never turns the ball over, and 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter is a massive choke job. There's no other way to put it. I love Tua, you know that. But there's no defending him today. Can't do it. Now, you know I hate that stuff. You go on social, Dolphins are still my team. Why the hell? I'm being dead serious. If you're one of those Dolphin fans who does the Tua's still my quarterback, Dolphins is still my team, why do you feel the need to do that? You have to tell, it's Dolphins are still my team. Okay, so there was potential at some point that based on the Dolphins winning, they're not going to be your team anymore. Why do you do that? I hate that shit. You see it all across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Dolphins still my team. Why wouldn't they're your team or they're not your team? Why do you have to defend if they're still your team or not? I hate that. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. I hate that shit. But for a quarterback who never turns the ball over, went into the game yesterday with 5 interceptions on the season, which is awesome. And then 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter alone. It's a massive choke by Tua. It is. And it's not like, he's never played under the big lights. I mean, the first time we ever saw him, Alabama National Championship, deep coming in for Jalen Hurts, deep pass, touchdown, boom. There you go. And he's been under a microscope ever since then. And that was a massive choke with certainly the game on the line, but also kind of feeling like the season on the line, although the season's not on the line because the fact of the matter is the Dolphins have control of their own destiny going into the final 2 games. And any team that has control of their own destiny going into the final 2 games, you're in a good spot as far as the playoffs go. I was getting some trash talk before the game this week. Oh, if the Dolphins lose tomorrow, they're in big trouble as far as making the playoffs. No, not true. Any team that has control of their own destiny in the final 2 weeks is in a good spot to make the playoffs. If you just have to win and not worry about other teams, you're in a really good position to make the playoffs. The place that the Dolphins are not in a good position to make the playoffs is why I put today's poll question out there. What's the confidence level? Because you're playing at New England this week and then against the Jets in the final game. The Dolphins could clinch the playoffs this weekend, but you're playing 2 teams who, A, are fighting to make the playoffs. They need to win and they need help, so you're going to get a really good effort. And B, would also love to ruin your playoff chances because they're your division rivals. So, yeah, the Dolphins are still in an advantageous position to make the playoffs, but, ZASLOW, do you think they're going to make the playoffs? What do you think? I think the Patriots suck, but would I be surprised right now if the Dolphins go to New England and lose? You can't be surprised because I'm shocked that they lost this game to Green Bay. This is the first time this year, right? I think so. Yeah, this is the first time this year that I've been shocked at a Dolphins loss. Because think about it, in the 3-game losing streak, what was that? Bills, early in the year, Bills, Jets, Vikings. You had Teddy Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson who were playing those games. So you can't be shocked. And certainly going into the first game against the Bills. No, not the Bills. Excuse me. That was actually the last of the Bills I'm thinking about. No, Bengals, Vikings, and Jets. Those 3 games. But the first one that they lost there, Tua was the starting quarterback. This is the first game. So I wasn't surprised that they wound up losing any of those games when you lost Tua, the Bengals game. And they're playing at Cincinnati. They're a good team. I know they were struggling a little bit at the time. Obviously, they're a good team. Look what they're doing right now. They've won 1,000 games in a row. But you're not surprised any of those games that Tua didn't play that the team lost. Is it a shock that they lost the Chargers? I mean, I thought they were going to beat the Chargers. I thought they were going to beat the Niners, but you're not shocked that they lost those games. Road games against good teams. The Niners might be the best team in the NFC. So you're not shocked about those two games that they lost. And you're not shocked that they lost at Buffalo. Did not think they were going to win at Buffalo, but you're not shocked that they lost. It's Buffalo. It's at Buffalo. This game, this was the first game this season that I'm shocked the Dolphins lost. Shocked. Thought they were going to smash the Packers. And the Packers are coming off 2 wins. What was it? The Rams and the Bears? I mean, come on. And no first prize, another one of those teams. And it's at home. And the defense was good. I mean, defense held to a field goal after the huge kick return, held to a field goal after one of Tua's interceptions. Like, defense did their job. Defense stopped Rodgers on a downs, fourth down. They went for a Rodgers deep pass, and that was incomplete. Kohu had an interception in the end zone on one, series there in the second half. Dolphins defense did a fine job. But this is the first game I'm truly shocked that the Dolphins lost. And they lost this game because it was a meltdown. A quarterback who never turns the ball over. 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. Game was tied, down by 3, down by 6. And the Dolphins get the ball back, so the defense comes up with the stop after the second interception. And the second interception was really the only one that wasn't Tua's fault. It was clearly a miscommunication. Mostert, ran a go route. He was supposed to stop. And this also shows, look, Tua's a big boy. And he knows as the quarterback, he's got to take the blame because Raheem Mostert came out and said if you know anything about football, you know that was a miscommunication. I tell you guys this all the time where, there's so much happening on the field, X's and O's wise, that sometimes, your eyes can deceive you. You don't really know what you were watching. And this was one of those cases where, Tua, how do you make that throw? Well, Mostert was clearly supposed to stop, but it's not clear to everybody. Mostert, after the game, said, he over and over, that was my fault, I screwed up the play, it was a miscommunication on my part. Tua didn't do that. He didn't tell you it was a miscommunication from Mostert. Tua, and this is where he's a big boy, and this is part of what also makes him easy to root for. His explanation there was, I may have called the wrong play in the huddle. I'm not sure. I thought it may have been on me. I may have called the wrong play. No. Everybody knows. And Mostert told you. That was on Mostert. But Tua, he's a big boy. His quarterback is a leader. He's going to deflect from Mostert and say, I may have said the wrong play. So you like hearing that out of your quarterback. But of the 3 interceptions, the first and the third were on Tua. Very bad on Tua. The first one, terrible overthrow. And you don't normally see him do that. And the third one, obviously a disaster. I know people are saying that it was well underthrown. I think it was intended for Gesicki. It was well underthrown. I'm not sure if it was underthrown. I just think he didn't see the safety there. I think it was a safety that picked it off. And otherwise the pass would have got to Gesicki, I believe. But it was intercepted. It was almost as if he didn't see him. And for a QB who makes the right decisions and never turns the ball over, 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter and 4 consecutive losses with a chance for first in the AFC. It's a massive choke all around. And as far as Tua goes, it leaves a ton of doubt as to whether or not he's the long-term answer. It does. It leaves a ton of doubt. Like, the fourth quarter, it depends what happens here the next couple games for sure. But that fourth quarter that we just watched yesterday can totally erase all of the goodwill that Tua created earlier in the season. It really can.